All right, now that we've been learning about functions, let's look at function tables, okay? Basically what a function table is this. It's an organization, a way to organize input and outputs, okay? Way to organize your input, rule, and output, okay? Just a way to organize it, okay? In the function table, we have two types of variables. We have something called your independent variable, and we have something called your dependent variable. Basically, what you need to understand is this. Your domain is your independent variable, okay? So independent variable is your domain, okay? This means it can be any number. Your dependent variable is your range, okay? It depends on the independent or on the domain. Kind of like you right now, you are a dependent because you're under the age of 18. You depend on your parents or guardians to provide for you. When you become an adult, you become independent. You no longer depend on anybody, and you are the ones that can produce any number. All right, so let's go ahead and look at one. We're going to look at a function of x in x plus 5, okay? So that's our function. Function of x is equal to x plus 5. So let's go ahead and make a table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a domain. I'm going to have the rule, which is just this, and then I'm going to have a range, okay? So again, domain is my input, range is my output, and then my rule, okay? So x is my domain. My rule for this one is just the function, f of x is equal to x plus 5. And then my range is going to be whatever the function of x is, okay? Or whatever the output, the result of it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do -2, -1, 0, and 1 as my 4 domains, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take those domains and I'm going to put them into the range. So I got function of -2 is equal to -2 plus 5. When I do -2 plus 5, my end result or my function is going to be 3, my output. When I put in a function of -1, I would have -1 plus 5. And so therefore my range would be 4, or my output. When I put a function of 0 in, I would have 0 plus 5. 0 plus 5 would give me an output of 5. And then lastly, the function of 1 is 1 plus 5. So 1 plus 5 gives me an output of 6. Okay? So when I have a domain of -2, my output is 3. Input of -1, my output is 4. Input is 0, output is 5. When I input 1, my output is 6. So these are my domains, and these are my ranges. All right, let's go ahead and look at one more example of a function, okay? Table. I'm going to have the function of x is equal to 8 minus x, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and set that up again where I'm going to have my x. My rule is going to be 8 minus x. And then this is going to be my function of x. Okay, so my domain, my rule, my range. Okay, I'm going to slide that up just a little bit. I get to choose what numbers I get to put in for domain. I'm going to put -4. I'm going to put -2. I'm going to put 0. And I'm just going to do a random one of 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this function 8. So I'm going to have the function of -4 is equal to 8 minus -4. When I do 8 minus -4, I get a positive 12. I'm going to put in the function of -2 now, which is 8 minus -2. 8 minus -2 gives me an answer of 10. Now I'm going to put a function of 0 in, which just gives me 8 minus 0. That results in 8. Now, lastly, I'm going to put a function of 3 in, which will give me 8 minus 3. 8 minus 3 gives me 5. Okay? So, my domain numbers are -4, -2, 0, and 3. My range numbers are 12, 10, 8, and 5.